Welcome to the My Narrative podcast. I'm your host, Yafa Arez. The following is a conversation with JJ Delgado. JJ is the leader behind the biggest sales day in Amazon history. Recognized as one of the top 15 unofficial LinkedIn influencers, JJ helped drive the growth of many organizations over international marketplaces, including Amazon, Burger King, Pepsi, Ford, and much more. He's currently the Global Chief Digital Officer of Estrella Galicia. Hey JJ, it's super great to have you today at the My Narrative podcast. How you doing?
Nice to be here, Jaffa. Thank you for the invitation, and it's a pleasure to enjoy this time with you and all the people that are following us.
Sweet. So we have a lot of interesting things to talk about. And before starting, I saw that you worked actually in many places around the world, and I did this too. And so I'm very curious to hear what was your favorite spot and why.
Well, it's true. I was moving around different places during the last 15 years, more or less. But one of my favorites, because all of them have something important in my life, but one of my favorite was Costa Rica. The time that I was spending there in Central America, it was amazing. I think it's a great country and great people, and the culture is similar but not exactly the same as my main culture, the Spanish one. And I was enjoying very nice time there.
Nice. I've been to Costa Rica once, and yeah, I can confirm it's amazing. The wildlife, the people, everything.
Mm.
It's a mind-blowing experience. Lovely country for sure. Nice.
Yep, the people especially because you can feel there is a different vibe over there, and they know how to enjoy life, but also how to work hard, and it's a good combination. I recommend everybody to at least visit the country. It's a very
Cool.
small country anyway.
Yeah, true. You can tour it very easily, I think, yeah, driving and sweet. So thank you for that. That was just a quick question. I was very curious to hear about, your favorite spots. So it's good to know it's Costa Rica. So JJ, obviously the elephant in the room, like when I found you on LinkedIn and across various, relevant websites, I saw that you're the leader behind the biggest sales day in Amazon history. Tell us what happened there.
Well, that's what everybody is asking about when when we are doing like a podcast or something like that. This happened during my time when I was working in Amazon in UK. So I was leading at that moment of time. I was leading the deals program. The deals program is the second most visited page on Amazon after the homepage there in UK. And this program was about running digital events around discounts, like special offers or deals that we were bargaining with different providers and brands. So we had like one key moment in the whole year that was Black Friday. So most of my colleagues at that moment, they were saying like, okay, you have to be living very well because you only work like one day per year, that it's on Black Friday. But it's completely untrue because we had to work super hard during the whole year just for performing in only one day. So that is Black Friday, the Friday of the Black Friday week. So it was in 2015, I think it was the 27th of November, that it was the Friday. And yeah, we were working super hard, not only me, I was leading the team, and for sure this big achievement was done because not only my team, but the whole company worked for that. I had the honor of leading the event. So that day, yes, it was crazy. We were preparing 40,000 deals on that day, flash offers that come in and out, and it was working only for 4 hours each of the offers. So it was like super dynamic environment. And we were working on that, feeding with amazing deals and also promoting the page to a large amount of customers or potential customers. So during that day, both sides convert in this event. And we reached a point that it was insane. Like we were selling like crazy, and we did the record at that moment, not only for UK but for the whole international sales of Amazon. And it was fantastic. After that, everybody was super happy, especially in the team, and it was a big achievement that we did. And I think we didn't beat the record the following years, and I don't know now because I left the company 3 years ago. But until I left, I was leading the record. So super proud.
Yeah, you should definitely. That's one hell of an achievement that you've got there. And did you hear from then Jeff Bezos after that, or?
No, I'm explaining a little bit about this experience in my life in my next book that I was writing during the last year, during the pandemic. And the thing that I received was an email from my manager at that point of time with a happy face. So that's it's common in the Amazon environment that you don't celebrate too much. You just focus on improve. But that was the congratulation email from my manager, a smile face in an email.
Fair enough. Yeah, I think that's that's a good rule, and something we see even in higher achievers or in sport. You have like this sort of 24-hour rule. Whether you fail or succeed, you just enjoy it, or you get depressed for just 24 hours and then you move on. Right? It's interesting.
Mm.
And so, how do you? I mean, it must be obviously that's a big achievement for you, and I'm sure you're not done. You have not retired after that, and you still full on. And now you are with Estrella Galicia.
Yep.
So tell us how you plan or to take the company to the next level, just like what you did at Amazon.
Well, Estrella Galicia is a very different company. It's a brewing company. We make beer. We are on one of the most important beer here in Spain, and we have a global operation. And the next challenge, we have different challenges, but one of them is to make the company really international, especially in Brazil, that we are betting a lot of our international sales there, and becoming like a digital company, or how the digital disruption can help the company to keep being competitive and start accelerating the growth of the company. So I'm focused on that. I'm focused on transforming the company digitally and also building more digital business around the brand. So it's like a big challenge because since a long time ago, I decided that it was at the very beginning of my time in Amazon that I tell that in my book as well. I'm going to do some publicity of the book during the call.
That's cool.
But I'm explaining on the book the very beginning of Amazon. I felt not very well working there because I was not performing the first 6 months. I was super under stress and feeling alone, basically, because I left everything behind in my hometown at that point of time. And after 6 months, I decided to resign, and I wrote even a letter to my resignation letter. But due to different things that happened on the day that I was going to present the resignation, I finally didn't do that. And I realized and I found my purpose during these first 6 months in Amazon. And I realized that if I was there in the big tech company, in one of the most important hubs internationally, like London, etc., it was to learn and not to focus on myself, but starting to understand what's a company of this kind of business, like one of the most important companies worldwide, for later on coming back and help other companies and other traditional professionals to transform themselves and keep being competitive. So thanks to that revelation that I had during my first months on Amazon, I had the power and the energy to keep pushing during my time, and then going back and start helping others. No, and that is one of my first steps that I did. I left the company. I joined a very traditional company like Estrella Galicia, and I started working hard to helping them transforming. And it's true that it was a very tough job, and I was working super hard during the last 3 years. But we did a lot of achievements, a lot of changes, and we are growing very fast, even during these times that are not very easy to grow in this market. But we are doing a good thing now. Yes.
Wow. Yeah. It's I mean, you're so right. Like as a joke, you said you're promoting your book, but I think it's great, and I can't wait for you to launch it and maybe continue this discussion and this quick anecdote, but I think important one that you mentioned on your early quote unquote like struggle or challenges and how you overcame them, and and in hindsight, I mean, have you, I guess, during that time, have you shared that with any of your former colleagues that you initially planned to resign, but then you thought, okay, now?
No, Jaffa. No. To be honest, it's the first time that I'm saying this. Not during this call, but it's the first time that I'm going to publish, like in this book, like the reality behind the click. How a professional like me feel or felt during that time, and what people can see, because usually people only see when you shine or when you have success or the external part of you, but they don't realize that behind that, or for building that success, there are a lot of things, a lot of sacrifice that you have to do, a lot of work and hard work that you have to keep doing during long times for later on achieving the success. But people usually don't like to see the bad part of everything. They want to focus only on the success.
Yeah.
So the book is the first time I'm going to share all the stories.
Yeah, absolutely. I really agree with you, JJ, here, and maybe we can even make an analogy. In sport, it's the same, and I think you are also a runner, and people see you, and and I'm sure you've done long distance because I saw you online. I think you're into running, and maybe correct me if I'm wrong, but it's the same in sports sometimes, or physical endeavors. When you cross the finish line or when you accomplish amazing or mind-blowing achievements, people think, oh, it's just easy, or they're just in one way. But I couldn't agree more. All the hard work, the training, showing up every day, that's what's crucial at the end to your success. And it's quite similar, I guess, in leadership and all the hard work and what you have to prove to the business. And so that's quite inspiring. Yeah.
Absolutely. You have to do a lot of sacrifice. If you want to achieve big things, you have to sacrifice a lot. And that's the common thing. If you talk to the leaders and to people that have success in life, doesn't matter if it's about sports or in business or musicians or whatever practice that you want to choose. If you talk to the big guys, they all share in common that it's about hard work and sacrifice.
Yeah, totally. So talking about hard work and sacrifice, and you've mentioned a lot of, I guess, digital projects that you led, and now you are, I think, 3 years with Estrella Galicia, and maybe you can comment from current projects, upcoming projects, or even your previous experiences. But we're seeing today data, technology, software is eating the world, but still a lot of companies struggle to unlock the value out of all these things, and it's still a struggle to I guess boost the customer experience and digitalize everything. Why is that?
I think there are a combination of different things, but if I have to choose the most important from my side, it's because this is not about the technology. Technology is like a commodity. It's about people. So it's about how the people that are in charge of the projects right now and the companies believe on themselves. because the more I talk with senior professionals, great leaders, etc., from the traditional world, it's mainly that they don't believe they are going to make the change. So they see the technology like very far. They don't understand the things, and it's going to be complicated if they don't believe that they are the ones in charge, and they are the ones that have to take ownership of the change and make that happen. So for me, that's the main barrier. It's a mindset.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. And you hear often leaders saying that technology is actually the easy bit in the equation. It's the most complicated or complex things to manage is things like culture, people, processes, right?
Yes, absolutely.
And so I guess in your mindset and when you drive programs or take organizations to the next level, is it fair to say that you are centered, or in your mind it's everything should be around the customer, like taking from the sort of Amazon culture, being customer obsessed? Is it fair to say that this is your approach when driving digital programs, or?
For me, it's more about people focus, because if you just focus on the customer, but you don't put enough energy on the people that are in charge of communicating to those customers, or building the value proposition to those customers, etc., you're not going to succeed. So for me, it's more about how to put the focus on the people, on the workers, on the employees.
Interesting. That's interesting. Very interesting angle there. And are you able or to provide example from, I guess, your current organization at Estrella Galicia, how you've put that into practice?
Yeah, well, to do a digital transformation, it needs like a battery of different actions. So it's a bit more complex to explain, but it's important to focus in both sides. Technology for sure. So you have to start building the right technology for the company, and that's a challenge by itself. You have to, second, understand what are the demands from the customers. So usually customers and clients are always more digital than your company, because we all are digital now. We just use digital media. We buy online. We spend long hours with our mobiles, etc. So we have to understand what are the demands from our customers. And then the third pillar, it's about the people, how you can build the right mindset in the current employees. Secondly, how you can attract new talent for your company. And third, how you can retain the talent that you are acquiring. So for me, it's a combination of a lot of different things that when you put in place all of them, you start making changes. And digital transformation needs time. So it's not something that companies can do in one shoot or in 1 year. It's a long journey.
Wow, yeah, interesting insight. I love the battery of different actions, definitely, and I'm sure listeners will leverage that. So you've just said, I couldn't agree more. Like everything is digital. We all know that. We consumers. I mean, me personally, I'm a cyborg for sure. I love my laptop. I take it everywhere. I'm not so much. I'm not so much into mobile, but I like my laptop because it's such a great tool. You can do so much, right? Create, connect, and so much. So you are, I guess, as a leader, obviously, you have to know what's going on, keep up with new trends and having everything under your radar, right? It's you have to know what's coming as a leader. You have to be able to act quickly when needed. And so when you look, JJ, at all these crazy new ecosystems, right, around us, within us, how do you, I mean, and how it's currently, and it will continue to revolutionize how we live, communicate, connect with each other. So where do you think this is going, and what would be the impact for any organizations right now?
That's a very, very good question, because
The million-dollar question.
if I know what's going to happen, I can be billionaire. No, but it's completely true. So there are a lot of things that are coming. So I see like a gap between the reality and versus the reality of the companies. So what the thing that is catching my attention the most now, it's cryptocurrencies. So I think that cryptocurrencies is the real disruption of everything that is going to happen. It's happening now, but it's going to scale in the coming years quicker than people think. And I'm going to elaborate a bit more. So it's not about only the fact of making money with cryptocurrencies. It's more about the technology and the philosophical business model that is behind the cryptocurrencies. So that is, for me, it's the decentralization of the power and the decentralization of the economy. And with that philosophy of decentralize all your processes, all your value, and all your pillars in your company, you can apply that to any business or any sector, industry, product, etc. So for me, this is the thing that is going to transform everything in the coming 3 to 7 years. It's this decentralization of everything. So for me, that's the reality that is happening on the people. And for the companies are still thinking in how they are going to make the best of social media. That is something that arrived in our lives like 20 years ago, something like that. And the companies are still struggling to compete on social media. Now I think they are moving from social media to e-commerce. That is it's a big step for them. But for me, it's a big gap between the reality of the traditional companies and the reality of the people.
Very interesting what you're saying, JJ, and yeah, it's interesting, and I think it's interesting what you said around. It's not so much about cryptocurrency per se, but it's about the model, the fact that it's decentralized, and what it means for people and companies around that ecosystem. Because yeah, I mean, even now we're seeing virtualizations of assets, people buying, selling virtual houses, NFTs, luxury brand providing Gucci shoes for your virtual avatar in your virtual house and selling NFTs. So it's going crazy there.
You can do everything with this technology, and it's going to. I think it's going to transform everything because it's so deep, the change, that I think people don't realize it yet.
Yes, and I mean, there's a lot of hype, yes, but things are happening right now, tangibly speaking. We're seeing transactions happening, we're seeing product placement, companies from the luxury sector selling, again, yeah, some sort of, whether it's NFTs, digital arts, digital products, it's happening.
It's happening now. It has happened already in the last, especially the last 2 years. But it's a technology and an industry that started like 10 years ago. So I think it's going to scale soon. Yes.
What are you? I'm curious to hear your honest views, JJ, when you see all of that, from whether it's a leader point of view or from a human point of view. You know, removing your leader hat. Isn't it unsettling, or is it? Do we need, I guess, to get used to that? I'm just scratching my head when honestly I read things like that people are buying $1 million house in a virtual world.
Yeah, it sounds crazy. To be honest, I don't know. I don't know what is going to happen. What I know is that there are a lot of people, a lot of businesses that are growing thanks to that virtual world. It's true that the fastest companies worldwide are digital. The most important thing is that this type of companies, that let's call it the new economy or the new digital economy, or however we want to call it, are the ones that are driving the present and the future. And are the ones that are able to adapt themselves and adapt as fast as the customers are demanding. Traditional companies are still struggling with change, and that's the most problematic thing, like how you can adapt yourself quicker and being faster and more flexible, because the context is moving super fast. And that's why the digital economy, or what I call the new economy, it's taking the leadership.
Yeah, I agree. And I guess in these times and even in the future, evolution won't be an option. It will be a must if you want to survive, I guess, in today's market. Yeah.
Yep. Evolution, it's change is the only thing that will not change. So we as professionals, we have to keep thinking how I can keep being competitive in a year or in 3 years' time, because we didn't learn this during our time in the school or the university. At least when I was studying, they were teaching me that okay, you have to do your degree and then you have to start working and then everything is done. But nothing further than the reality. Like I have to read every single day. I'm a big fan of books, for example. I'm reading 50 books a year, and I think that's the only way to keep being updated with the content. There are so many people that are writing good content and digesting all the things that are happening for all of us. And I encourage everybody to read one book per week. In that way, they will become digital. So that's the only way to transform yourself.
That's amazing, impressive goals right there, and hopefully maybe with the help of Elon Musk and Neuralink, we will be able to just drop all the books into our brain in the near future. That will help to reach this high bar goals. What are you currently reading, JJ?
I'm reading now Sell Like Crazy from Sabri Subi. I don't know if you know about it.
No, I don't know about it. No.
Yeah, for me, it's one of the most disrupting books. I'm a big fan of Sabri, and this book just helps you to sell like crazy.
Cool. Okay, nice. I'm currently reading a Stuart Russell book on called Human Compatible on AI and the problem of control. So yeah, pretty cool. I'm trying to alternate. Yeah, it's a good book. I can send it to you. It's pretty good book. I'm trying to alternate between fiction and non-fiction, because otherwise the brain is just not happy if you just read like non-fictional book.
That's true. I have to do the same.
Yeah. Cool. So JJ, so I guess to keep up and to be always on top of everything, there's different tactics, and when it comes to marketing and things that what we call neuromarketing. And I know you've worked on that, so I think it would be good for us to explore on that topic. So I guess for listeners that are not very familiar, the mix of neuromarketing, neuroscience. So can you just quickly, I guess, define what's decision science and neuromarketing?
Well, I'm not a big expert because I was writing books around this topic and I was in different forums, etc. But I believe this is a huge topic, so it's very difficult to be an expert. But neuromarketing is about how we can study the reactions of the brain regarding marketing activities. So this is like an extension of the science of neurology, that it's focusing on the wellness of the people, that they are analyzing how the brain behave, but applied to the business and specifically to the marketing. So in that area, neuromarketing, I was investing all my thesis and my PhD. So, and it's a huge topic anyway, even if it's a subtopic of neurology. But with neuromarketing, the people or the guys that are practicing this story can't understand in a much deeper level how we think and how we behave. That is something that always catch my attention, like why we behave as we behave and why we don't behave as we supposed to be behaving as customers. So I was focusing my efforts in studying our personality. So how the personality of each of us affects the way we behave online, especially online. And when I was doing my PhD, particularly focusing on social media, and how our footprint of our behavior in social media can be something that can predict our personality. And knowing the personality of your customers can help you to adapt your value proposition or your product or services to each of your potential customers. So it's a huge topic and very interesting. And it's not now in a hype. It was like some time ago, but it's very, very solid science that can help business to keep growing and understanding their customers. That is one of the most important things.
Yeah, cool. And I think I've read online that by just collecting from a data point of view, like just the 300 likes on Facebook, we can build a profile about your personality that's
Yep.
incomparable to anything else. So I guess I don't know, but usually people are super skeptical when it comes to neuromarketing because of what happened before, whether it's via social media, data breach, and I guess the invisible nudge and herding that's happening with algorithms. Maybe you want,
Yep.
or maybe you have in your kit bag some, I guess, positive examples that you've led or projects that you worked on or you came across that benefits the actual end users, customer when it comes to neuromarketing.
Yeah, it's true. It's a very controversial topic. In fact, that's one of the reasons that I didn't push that much during the last years, and I try not to push the boundaries further because I was working on that topic like for 4 or 5 years, and it's true that if you apply these tools for doing the good, it's an amazing tool. But it's true that once you open this box of understanding how people think and how you can affect the way they think, it can be applied as well as bad purposes. And we had very close this example of Cambridge Analytica, how if you use these techniques for manipulate what people want to vote or the perception of the people regarding the future, it's very controversial. So that's why I decided to go out of that topic, of that area, of that studies, and I stopped my studies at that point of time. But if you apply this to helping customers to discover new products or new services that are more interesting for them, they are helping. Like, for example, if you want to communicate with your customers, maybe in social media or by email, by whatever channel, it's much more efficient if you know the way their personality is. Like if they are like looking for something new, or they are more like a methodical guy that are looking only for the same things at the same point of time, with nothing that can disturb their constant. Or there are people that are more like Lady Gaga, no? I put always the example. Lady Gaga is a clear example of being a person that wants to catch the attention of others, and that segment of people, they behave on the same way when always, like not only when they are doing like one purchase or another purchase or one product or other. They behave on the same way always in their lives. It's something that move them for everything. So a Lady Gaga has a very different way of approaching to business or to purchases than, for example, Gary Kasparov, that is completely the opposite personality. It's a methodical guy. These guys are built for following a method, like playing chess, for example. So there are clear examples of how these techniques can help you to help your customers, but there are always the bad side of that. There's other examples that how you can use these techniques for manipulate the behavior of a group of people. So there are two sides of the same coin always.
Yeah, like everything, it's a yin and yang. There's always risks when it comes to opportunities, but like you said, you could it could be a great way to, I guess, build better profiling, better serve them, create better products, and all that good stuff. So I guess that's one aspect of how you could, find better ways to, deliver greater customer experience. And so talking about delivering greater customer experience, I guess, I mean, Estrella Galicia and others, do you think that when you look at advertising, for example, do you think that the traditional ways of advertising is dead? It's now everything should be more digital, social media. What are your views on that? Because you probably saw the evolution of that, right?
Yeah, I have a good story on that. I usually, there are a lot of senior leaders or CEOs that call me and say, okay, JJ, can we meet one day and we can have lunch and we can talk about business or opportunities or whatever? So usually these type of CEOs are coming from traditional companies. They are always 50-ish, something like that. So the conversation always started talking about how the society is right now, how Facebook has changed everything, how they affect Trump and the Brexit and everything. That usually is the first half an hour of the conversation, and how this social media is changing the relationship with our children and things like that. And then the second part of the conversation is always okay, let's talk about my business. I'm going to tell you something, JJ. My customers are not on Facebook. Say, come on, you just 30 minutes ago, you were telling that Facebook has changed the way we educate our children, and Facebook is able to change the one election in countries, and then you are saying that for your company, they are not on Facebook, or you cannot use Facebook for reaching your customers. It's completely contradictory. But it's like a pattern. So many people behave like that. For their personal life, they believe that social media, it's the ones that are driving their decisions. But when they are talking about business, it's not like that. And from my point of view, it's they don't want to see that our decisions as customers, or how we discover new products, or how we relate with our brands, are mainly digital. So 80% of our behavior is affected by social media and the digital reality. And for me, that's the key. And it doesn't matter what industry you are working or your company is about. It doesn't matter if you work for a large corporation or you are a solo entrepreneur or a startup, because this is common for everybody. We have to fight for the attention of our customers. If you don't have the attention of your customers, your business is on risk. And now the attention of our customers is on the mobile. So we spend hours and hours on our mobile. And if your company or you don't know how to achieve these customers and how to engage with them on this device, you are on risk for the future. And for me, that's one of the key points of everything.
Yeah, the North Star almost, right? Like we're seeing in big tech, the engagement, the attention, but having your market share, and that's an interesting story.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter. You don't need to be have a big budget for achieving customers now. So we can see how for me, these new pop stars of the 21st century, that are the YouTubers and the influencers, with no money or with very few amount of money, they are reaching millions and millions of people. So for me, these are the guys that we have to follow and we have to learn from. And the company should be focusing on how to engage with their customers on the same way as these guys are doing.
Yeah, totally. No, totally. You're absolutely right. You can learn from anyone right out there, especially like gone are the days that just looking at other competitors from the same industry. Now everything is integrated, right? The experience, it's coming from everywhere.
Yeah. Even though I'm not a big fan of the omnichannel, I know this is like a very controversial too, because everybody is talking about omnichannel.
What is that? Tell us, JJ.
Because I truly believe that that's like an excuse for not doing going digital. It's like, okay, but we have to think globally and omni. First thing, you have to start doing a good job on the digital side, as well as the one that you are doing in the traditional world. Don't try to go to the last level of expertise, like being a combination of both. Trying to start learning how to work on digital, how to engage on digital, and then after that, trying to converge and doing like an omni-channel approach. But so many people, I think it's just an excuse, like, okay, I don't want to go digital because I want to go like an hybrid approach. For me, start being good digital and then go to the omni.
Interesting. Thanks for sharing that. So you've mentioned before, like the battery of different actions, and I like that one. And I'm quoting you on that one. It's not just tech. Obviously, you have the customers in the picture and your people, right? Your human capital, how you can elevate the skills, attract talent, retain, and all of that. And so customers. Do you agree with Elon Musk when he said, "Hey CEOs, hey guys, spend less time on PowerPoints and boardrooms, but spend more time on how you could provide greater products to your customers." Yeah.
Absolutely. I think we lose most of our times doing PowerPoints. In fact, on Amazon, PowerPoints are not allowed. So we didn't use a PowerPoint.
I like that.
And they are banned. Like you cannot use them. You have to use this narrative and 6-page documents and 1-page document and different templates that we had. And at the very beginning, it's like super weird, because you go to a meeting, usually 45 minutes meeting, and the first 25 minutes, everybody is in silence. So you just hand out like a copy of your 6-page document, and during the first 25 minutes, everybody is reading, taking notes, and it's super weird. I was not in use of that, because usually in meetings, you start like saying, first of all, like engaging a bit with some personal questions. And then second, you start talking about a PowerPoint and introducing and telling the story. But in Amazon, it's completely different. You just hand out the copy, people read, take notes, and then after that, in the rest 20 minutes, they reach their questions, you answer them if you know it, and if not, you just write down and then send by an email follow-up answerings. It's super effective. At the beginning, I didn't understand, but after some time, I realized that that's the best way to align all the company with your projects and helping others to understand what you want to do. And the fact of not having a PowerPoint that is very, very vague, with the word, with writing down your ideas, and push you to be more concise, more like clear in what you want to do. And I think it's one of the secrets of Amazon. It's about how they communicate internally. On the other side, I think traditional companies are getting lost in discussion and more discussion about ideas and how to approach to things in a state of focusing on doing the things.
Yeah, I see. And so I guess so going back to this like a product design approach and almost a design thinking stuff. So I know you're really into design, and same here. It's in your views, what's the anatomy of a good innovation or product or design? The essentials.
For me, a good innovation, it's about simplicity. I think the more the simpler an idea is, the better. Because so many times we as professionals, we want to make very complex things. and customer don't understand what we want to say, and we want to build on our product. So I think the most successful innovation are the ones that are the simplest, like one single thing that you want to solve with your product or your service. And in combination, this, if you are targeting to save time of people, that's the perfect innovation, like simplicity and focusing on saving time of your customers.
Yes, and I agree. And I think, funny enough, in design, that should also be reflected, because that's one reason we say that good design is invisible, right?
Absolutely. And the good design, you believe it's it's not there. Exactly.
Yeah, fantastic. So I guess it's a good segue to, because now we, like you said, we were talking about real stuff, real world, stop spending time on PowerPoints and all the good stuff, all that stuff. But I think you've been involved a little bit in the academic world, and I want to bring up. I have a funny enough, in my circle of friends, I have only one, I think, one or two people working in that sector, and I want to increase that a bit more to get more exposure. So, what are your views on the gap between the actual real world versus academia, JJ? For me, when I speak to people in academia, it's just mind blowing. It doesn't feel like the normal world of almost, compared to
Yeah.
professionals or
Yeah.
practitioners or entrepreneurs.
Yeah. It's completely true. It's like a big gap between university and reality and business. But I think it has to be like that, because when you go to the university, it's for learning, it's for thinking deep, it's for challenging the status quo, it's for challenging your own thoughts, etc. And when you are in business, you are for making things happen, building value, I don't know, improving the society. But I think that the question is more about how big is this gap. One example, when you go to the university, it's more about how you can make a 20-page assessment about this. And then in business, it's, okay, tell me your idea in 5 minutes. So it's completely the other way around. So for me, universities or academic world and the real world, in business world, has to be different, because they have different purposes. But I think the gap is too big. So I think the university has to start approaching to the businesses, and the businesses should be approaching to the academic, because the academic world can give them a lot of value. That's why I'm a business guy. I'm coming from the business that I'm approaching to the academic world, and that's why I did my PhD and my focusing on digital economy, because I'm always curious about learning more. And that's why I collaborate as well, for example, with universities like London School of Economics or IE here in Spain, because I want to be connected to the theories, but always trying to understand the theory to be applied to the real world. So it's like building bridges between the two realities.
Yeah, I agree. We need both, right? Again, like everything in life, it's balanced world, and we're seeing that in many sectors. Like, for instance, in AI, thank God, of course, we have the research aspects of, for
Yep.
instance, machine learning, and then you have applied machine learning for businesses. But I'm optimistic in the future, because yeah, people like you're actually going there. You're super proactive, but also reverse, like you mentioned, we're seeing many prolific academicians, professors. On top of my head, I'm thinking, for instance, of Andrew Huberman, an amazing neuroscientist from Stanford, who's been since 2 or 3 months or publishing amazing podcast on neuroscience and bringing the world of science and the research he's doing in his lab at Stanford to the world. And I think more and more we would see prolific, amazing scientists bringing their knowledge to the world, to the common mortal, so to speak, in plain English,
One thing that I'm seeing on trend right now, it's like a combination between academic and startups. I think that's one of the most interesting things that are happening now is how you put in contact like doctors and PhD guys with startups, and because the startups are the ones that are more flexible and quick, so they can absorb the knowledge of the academic world and then put that on the market very quickly in a new way. So I'm seeing more and more like accelerators and venture capital, etc., focusing on this, building companies in combination between startups and academic guys.
Yes, totally. And actually, funny enough, last Tuesday I published an episode with Amir, co-founder and CEO from Virtualeap. And yes, this company is providing VR capabilities to improve brain health. And it's like you said, because it's a startup, super flexible, agile, they have the speed required. They're working directly with experts, medical institutions, etc. So that's very interesting to watch. That sort of business model of injection of research, then applied into real world problems. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. And so I think so. You've published, I think, and you work with and you're still working, yeah, with LSE and other amazing institutions. Do you want to share a little bit of projects or published papers that you have brought to the world of marketing and digital marketing? And
Well, the ones that I wrote already, the more scientific, is the ones around the personality. So I invest a lot of my time investigating and doing research about this topic, the personality, because it's the most complex thing that you can imagine. It's trying to analyze something that by definition cannot be analyzed, that is the human being. But the more you get involved with this topic, the more in hook you get. And one of the articles that I'm more proud, and thanks to these articles, I achieved like the one award in, like, I think it was 3 years ago, about one of the best behavioral guys worldwide, or something like that was the award. I don't even remember. But it was about the 8 segments of the personalities, and how I did the analysis of each of these segments and how you can approach to each of these segments. So basically, this analysis and this article was about 3 main dimensions that our personality is built. The first one is about novelty seeking. So there are people that are always looking for new things, and there are others that are not activating their behavior when they see something new. So you think about yourself, maybe you can just position yourself, like you get activated with new things or you just not get activated. The second dimension is about risk avoidance. So there are people that when they see some risk, they stop their behavior. And there are other segment of people that when they see the same risk and they perceive the same risk, they don't stop their behavior. So you can still position yourself in this second dimension. And the third one is about social reward. So there are people that are looking always for social rewards, and there are other people that are not looking for these social rewards, and they are more like individualistic. So with these 3 dimensions, if you build them, because they are like completely independent one from each other, you can build a cube. And that is the basic foundation of the Norizo cube. That is the one that I developed. So with this cube, in each of the vertices, you have like a segment of personality. The segments that are completely opposite in the cube is because they behave completely different. And the segments that are close on this cube is because the behavior is in somehow they have similar things. So with this theory, you can segment all your customers and all the people in your company, even your workers, and in that way you can start knowing much better how they are. So that's one of the articles that I'm more proud about. And now I'm more focusing in writing my book. So during the last year and a half, I was mainly putting on paper all my knowledge from the business perspective. and trying to help others to learn what I have learned during the last time, and especially during my time on Amazon.
Fantastic. And yes, you need to come back once you launch your book, JJ.
Yeah, the book is going to be called Smash It, How to Dominate the Digital Era and Make Your Business Grow Like Hell. And it's going to be launched maybe in the coming 2 weeks, firstly in the US and international markets. And then I'm translating that in Spanish, and I will publish for the Spanish community.
Sweet. Yeah, fantastic. I'll make sure I get those links to our audience in the show notes. So just to go back quickly on the personality traits, and I'm pleased to hear from a leader that you're very conscious, I guess, of the opportunities, but the risk as well. And I'm sure you will apply all those findings and frameworks in data and leverage all the science basically ethically and legally. So that's cool. What are your views, I guess, on because the nature of us, we are not static, that's for sure. We evolve, we change, experiences shape us, build us, destroy us, makes us stronger, you name it. So, I mean, I guess for me personally, I love those things. It really helps to, get better understanding of who you are and who are you dealing with around you. But don't you think that sometimes it can be a bit tricky or dangerous to sort of pigeonholing someone into one box? I mean, when you look, for instance, at the weakness of the sort of like personality test that some companies do, for hiring, and I'm sure you watched the documentary on that. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, I guess like anything, it has weaknesses, but it can be a bit dangerous not to just put someone in a box. We are complex, right?
Absolutely. I think it's the most complex challenge that we have, trying to approach to something in an analytical way, something that it's mainly emotional, like the human beings. But it's true that we behave more predictably than we think. So we can be more predictable than we can initially think. And it's true that if you look to yourself during your past decisions, all of them share like a common pattern. Like, as I mentioned before, if you are a methodical guy, it's because usually you want to have a lot of information before taking a decision. And if you are like Lady Gaga, fighting for the attention of others, mainly the decisions that you are taking in your life, they are skewed for taking the attention of others or using as a tool for taking the attention of others. Any personality, there is no any personality that is better than others. So they are completely good, all of them. The most important thing is to knowing yourself, to knowing what are your strengths and your weaknesses, and knowing your customers for not making them doing some choices that they don't want or they are not easy for them. I'm going to put you an example. Some time ago, it was on trend, like for qualifying for having like a contest or an award. You have to qualify by giving the email of 10 friends. If you are an individualistic guy, you don't even have 10 friends for giving like their email. So how you are going to put that condition for qualifying for something if these guys are not are individualistic, or if the main segment that you are targeting are individualistic? So for sure, when you are talking in a one-to-one manner, you can get wrong, and maybe you think one guy was like this and in reality is the other way. But when you are talking about segments and a group of people, they are quite powerful.
Yes, you're right. Yeah, interesting examples here. And I guess, yeah, like you said, at the end, I agree, self-awareness is key, whether it's with yourself but also awareness of your customer, right? And I think in looking in that way, that could be definitely beneficial for customers and others. So So JJ, tell me, I mean, looking back, your great experience and the journey is not over yet. But so far, what are the accomplishments that you are most proud of? And that could be anything, not necessarily work related. It could be sport, family, it's limitless. The possibilities are limitless. Tell me.
Well, that's a difficult question, but well, this thing can be half and half. So one of the things that I'm more proud is when I did my first public event, public speech. Because when I was studying, I used to go to a lot of marketing events because I like it a lot, the topic. And I saw these guys presenting in front of, I don't know, 1,000 people, 2,000 people. And I was thinking like, wow, they are doing so well. I don't know how to do this. I will never be able to do this. I'm a very shy guy. And at that moment of time, I was thinking like, this is extremely complex. So after years, I was working hard, preparing, practicing. But the first time that you put in front of so many people and you have to present your ideas and you have to engage with the audience, I was super scared, to be honest, the first time. But I did it. For sure, it was not my best performance, but it went well. And I'm very proud of that one, the first one.
Nice, super nice. And actually, funny enough, as we age and as we build up years of experiences in our field, and as we get more comfortable, actually, when people see sometimes or feel like, oh, I'm always I have a bit of a stress always, it's actually healthy. I've learned actually via the Huberman in neuroscience that increases performance actually to have a healthy dose of self-doubt or stressors. Cool. And so before we wrap up, and I have just two more questions for you, but I have 3 quotes that I want to share with you, and I would love to hear in your views the one that resonates the most with you. All right, are you ready?
Okay.
Cool. So the first one is that the risk you're afraid to take could change your life. The second is, I am curious to see what happens if you don't give up. And the last one is, rejection is redirection.
Well, clearly the second one.
I am curious to see what happens if you don't give up. All right. Do you have a story or an anecdote around that?
Yes, it's true. I think I published something like that some days ago. But it's true. It's completely true. It's like, don't give up. If I have only one quality, it's that I don't give up. Because I'm not a talented guy. I'm not Elon Musk. I don't have talent. I have hard work and I'm persistent. Like, I never give up. Period.
Nice, cool. Well, JJ, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. And to wrap up the show, I always ask my guest, what are the skills and character traits that helped you so far in your life?
Sorry, Jaffa?
The skills or character traits that helped you so far in your life?
Well, I think I was mentioning during the interview, but I think it's hard work.
Yeah, amazing. Discipline, inspiring. Yeah, discipline. Cool. Well, JJ, thank you so much for your time. It's been an absolute pleasure talking to you today. And please come back to the show once you launch your new book.
Thank you, Jaffa, and thank you for bringing me here. And congratulations for all the work that you are doing. That is not easy, and for building this vehicle of talking and making people think. And if I have been useful for your audience, I'm super happy. Even though it's only one person that I can change their life, I'm super happy.
Great. Bye-bye, JJ.
See you.
Thank you for listening to the Mind Narrative podcast. If you enjoy the content, we welcome your support by contributing on Patreon. Find out more at mindnarrative.co.uk. Bye.